So we have the last film in the X-Men franchise that was put out by 20th Century Fox, who is now 20th Century Studios. But how was it? Let's find out. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for the New Mutants. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time finding me and you want more movie reviews from myself, me doing trailer reactions or responding to entertainment news or anything I think is cool, please right now just click on that subscribe button. And if you like the video, please give me that thumbs up because it helps out a lot. The New Mutants is finally here, guys. Can you freaking believe it? I cannot. After so many delays, this film is finally in theaters. It was originally supposed to come out April of 2018, but it is here in theaters, not on demand, because a lot of people like myself thought it was going to be released on Disney Plus, but now it is released in theaters where it is supposed to be. Now, I cannot say that I was super duper excited about this. If they deleted this film from existence and just try to pretend like it never happened, I wasn't going to lose a moment of sleep, but I did get a chance to check it out. Now, this is being directed by Mr. Josh Boone, who is a big comic book fan. He has a large comic book collection, and he is actually the writer and the director of this film. And when I looked at his filmography, there was one film that he put out that I was not familiar with, Stuck in Love, which came out in 2012, but he did put together The Fault in Our Stars, which came out in 2014, and I thought that that was a pretty decent movie. If you've seen any one of those, please comment below over your thoughts after you subscribe. I would really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and get into what this film is about exactly. 5 young mutants, just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will, fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. Now, the 5 characters that this film is centered around is Rain Sinclair, Ilyana Rasputin, Sam Guthrie, Daniel Moonstar, and Roberto da Costa. Those are their character names, playing the roles of the X-Men, the New Mutants, Cannonball, Mirage, Sunspot, Wolfbane, and Magic. Some of those I'm a bit familiar with, like Sunspot. He was in X-Men Days of Future Past. A few of the other X-Men characters or the New Mutants characters, I am not. Now, one of the things that I did like about this film was the intro, which was released online. I believe you can go look it up on YouTube right now. Just kind of giving you a taste of the film, what the tone will possibly be, and what you're in store for, as it explained the plot revolving the Demon Bear. And as far as the tone is concerned in this film, it was, to my understanding, that this was supposed to be a horror film initially, like a horror comic book film, and that's something that I'm not too familiar with, and it did initially get me excited. But as time went on, the studios involved did kind of deter away from that element, and I think it kind of harmed the film. As far as my likes are concerned, all I can really say is I like the intro with somewhat of a dream sequence, but after that, guys, everything else just did not fall into place. Let's just talk about the characters real quick. I honestly did not like any of them. I didn't hate them. Ilyana Rasputin wasn't my favorite, but there was really no characters that I could see myself getting attached to, that I was rooting for, that I wanted to succeed. They all just was place fillers, in my opinion, and they could have been replaced by someone else completely. The acting from each of these characters was also not the best. It was a bit cringeworthy at times, especially when it comes to Blue Hunt, who played Daniel Moonstar. I don't know what was going on, but there was a few scenes where there was a romantic relationship that was developing between her and another character, and I didn't see any chemistry between the characters at all. It just kind of seemed like some cheap kindergarten puppy love, and kind of made me snicker to myself while I was watching this movie, and that's not a good thing. But going back to the characters, we have these mutants, and when you're seeing a film like this, in my opinion, one of the things that you want to see as an audience member, a comic book fan, an X-Men fan, a New Mutants fan, is a great display of powers. Now, while there was a bunch of powers in this movie, I said a bunch, it really wasn't a bunch. It was not that much at all, and that's just very disappointing. One of the best, not the best, but one of the best X-Men films in my opinion was X-Men Dark Phoenix as far as the action is concerned. Action alone and displaying the powers of the mutants. That, sent me through the roof. I was over the moon, excited, giddy in my chair in the theater, just bursting out with excitement because I thought that film did a great job of showing all the mutants work together, their combination of powers and just different scenarios and situations. And there was nothing like that at all in this movie. And it was very, very disappointing. Something else wrong with this movie, guys, it was just extremely boring, okay? It only comes in at about 1 hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 38 minutes to be exact. And I do remember looking at my clock at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark, just saying to myself, oh my gosh, what's going on? When is something going to happen? And it's funny because right when it happened, about 5 minutes later, that's when things did start to pick up, but it didn't pick up that much. The situation at the time was very anticlimactic, and I was just like, wow, you just got my hopes up for no reason at all, and it was just something else that was disappointing to me. Adding on to that, guys, another thing that I just did not like is the cinematography in this film. The color was just dull and bland, and that didn't already help with the boring plot or story that, this film was already putting out. It was very frustrating. I was ready to go, and I kind of found myself about to fall asleep just a little bit. It also wasn't scary at all. I saw the horror, scary element that they tried to infuse in the film, and it just did not work. There were a number of dream sequences in this film where they, in my opinion, were trying to copy off of the Freddy Krueger movies, and it just didn't work in my opinion. There was nothing frightening about it. There was no threat anywhere to be found in this film, whether it was in real life or a dream sequence. And I don't know. Just seemed like a cheap imitation of Boogeyman trying to chase you, and like it's your babysitter. And you're like, okay, stop it, leave me alone. I'm too old for that. That's just kind of the vibes that I was getting while I was watching that movie. I mean, unfortunately, there's just really nothing that I liked about this movie. And just one of the last things, there was just really no real villain. We have the Demon Bear, but when you see the film, you're kind of going to be saying to yourself, really, that's it? I mean, you hype this Demon Bear up so much in the marketing material, in the trailers, in the previews, but if this is all we get for supposedly the last X-Men film that was supposed to come from 20th Century Fox, I mean, I don't know what's going on, guys. I mean, y'all really just dropped the ball here. And there was just also no consistency within the characters, within themselves, and the powers. Sometimes the mutants were able to use their powers full-fledged, full force, and knew exactly how to turn them on, but then 5 seconds later or a few scenes later, they don't know how to do that, and then they're going back and forth. It's just like, where's the consistency? It's non-existent. I mean, just another example, the character Ilyana Rasputin. I mean, she tried to appear as a badass, like she's a bully and not going to be pushed over, and I can do this, and I've killed 18 men, but when it came down to it, sometimes she just dropped the ball. And I saw where they were trying to go with the story, trying to flesh out the characters, that they all came from trauma, like events, but it just didn't work for me. And, just one more thing is I didn't like that. There was just a lot of questions that weren't asked at the time that they were supposed to be asked. I mean, if I wake up in the facility and I want to get out of there, I'm going to be asking questions from here to Timbuktu. And I'm just saying to myself while I was watching this movie, okay, why aren't you asking about this? Why aren't you inquiring about this? Why isn't this right here important to you? And I think I said last thing like 3 times in this video, but one more thing is that sometimes the effects were pretty piss poor as well. There was one character that was able to make force fields out of nowhere, and it seemed very cheap. Remember the first 3 X-Men movies where Hugh Jackman Wolverine had his claws? They look practical, they look real. Excuse me for hitting the mic. But then you remember the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie where his claws came out. It seemed kind of really fake in CGI animation. You can tell that it wasn't real. It's like, how do you go backwards in the effects departments? That's exactly how I felt in this movie, and I can honestly say that I did enjoy X-Men 3 what is it, The Last Stand, and also X-Men Apocalypse better than this movie. I can honestly say that this is the worst X-Men movie. But guys, if I had to rate the New Mutants out of a 1 out of 10, I would give this film a 4 out of 10. Yes, a 4 out of 10. But guys, that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel and look me up on social media. My guys, again, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.